All right, everyone. I am going to go ahead and get started here. My name is Rod Sherman, and I am blessed and honored to be able to serve as the head football coach here at Arapahoe. I'm so sorry that I can't meet you in person. I recognize some of your names. I know I've met some of you at camps and the like, and it's just the world we're living in right now, right? And um, I appreciate you taking a few minutes finding out, learning more about our football program here. And hopefully, in the next 10 minutes or so, I can share with you a few things that are important to us here at Arapahoe, etc. First, just thought I'd share a little bit about myself. This is my family. I have two students that are here at Arapahoe. My daughter Rory is a sophomore here right now, and my son Melky is a freshman. I've got a son Deacon who's a seventh grader and a daughter Devin who's a third grader. And we have loved the Arapahoe community. Prior to coming to Arapahoe, I was a head coach at a private school down the street, Valor Christian. I was the founding athletic director there and was blessed to be able to coach some great athletes there, and have just loved my transition into public education, the community that my wife and I have felt here at Arapahoe. I have great respect for the administration here, for our athletic director, and for other head coaches. And it's an amazing community to be a part of, and I hope you'll get a chance to experience that as well. Our mission statement at Arapahoe here is we want Warrior football players to be selfless young men powered by great strength and grit who strive to become champions on and off the field. We care a lot, and I know there's some parents here and there's some student athletes here. We care a lot about the success and the worldly success we'll experience on the field. But ultimately, we care a lot more that the young men that we have the ability to coach and the privilege to coach become great fathers, great husbands, great leaders within our community. And we believe that football is an incredible game to be able to teach that, to be able to teach teamwork, perseverance, grit, passion. And I certainly will never say that one sport's above another in the ability to teach that, because I believe that students can learn great life lessons from their involvement in any sport. But I know our staff does really feel as though athletics and specifically football does give us the opportunity for that. So that is the mission of our football program. We have 10 core values that guide us. I won't talk too much about these now, but I did want you to know that our core values are how we make decisions, how we support young men in our program. First one's extremely important to us, that we want to treat each other with others with respect, with love. We talk a lot about love in our football program, and for some that seems unique to talk about love with a physical, aggressive game like football, but we absolutely believe that's true. We talk about this with our players sometimes, that we've got to learn to be champions, that we've got to make decisions that are making us champions with those decisions that we make. And here's some of the things we talk about. That last row on the spreadsheet. We believe champions make decisions that make them a better young man, student, and athlete. And we believe that prioritization of that's really important. We hope every young man here excels athletically, but it's more important to us that they excel first in their character and the young men that they are becoming, and then second as a student. We care so much about that as a school here, and I think you'll find consistency in all of our programs that that's important. A couple other things. We talk a lot in our program about how we're going to treat women, how as men in a physical game like football, you see the NFL has taken a stance about what the right way is to treat women in this world, and that men don't speak down to women and aren't physically abusive. And we talk about that because we think it's never too early to learn those lessons. So we talk about what a champion does and what a pretender does, and we're making a lot of strides within our program. Other core values that we have, we'll embrace the storm. Often it's a reality that we grow through tough times, not just through easy cakewalk times. We play a really difficult schedule, and we think that helps mold our character and mold us as athletes. We believe that grit and toughness are skills. I don't believe that an athlete is just born tough. I believe they work to make themselves tough. They work to have grit and passion, and we want to work to develop those in our program. We don't want to play out of selfishness. We want to play for each other. Um, and team games do such a great job of teaching that all 11 players need to be on the same page in order for the team to have success. We want to have fun. Our guys put way too much time in to football, not to enjoy it, not to have fun at practice and games. And we want to do that. We want to compete. We set up our practices so that everything is about competition. We get a chance, as we also believe competition is a skill, and you get better at it by continually doing it. The more we can compete against ourselves, against others, the better off we're going to become. There's no substitute for passion. And we also want to understand this is a journey. Uh, High school football experience is just a 4-year experience of a long, hopefully productive and fruitful life. And we want to keep growing along that journey versus thinking about this is just a finite destination we're headed, that we want to continue to grow. In our program, competitive excellence is really important to us, and we talk with our players a lot about that. We play 5A football here at Arapahoe. It's not true of every school around, but it's really important to us. Our numbers dictate that with the size of our school, we're smaller than every school in our conference by a lot. We don't complain about that. We don't whine about that. We work to become champions at the 5A level. We play in the Centennial League without argument. It's the toughest football conference in the state. We've lost 3 games this year so far, all 3 of them to teams ranked in the top 10, all 3 of them to conference teams. We've played a truncated season, and we didn't play all of our non-conference games, so we jumped right into the Centennial League. Like I said, we don't complain about that. We look forward to competing against the best teams in the state, and we're changing the culture of our program. This is the 3rd year of our staff. Prior to our staff, and certainly not just me, but all of our assistant coaches that have joined me, the 2 years prior to us starting here, we were 3-7 as a program, and we've made great strides. We've gone to the playoffs each of the last 2 years, as I mentioned, playing in the toughest conference, and we believe our future is incredibly bright. We have one of the best freshman coaches or classes I've ever been a part of this year. 50 players on our freshman team, undefeated. We've mercy ruled, had a running clock against Grandview and Eagle Crest. We played Cherry Creek this last Saturday, beat them by 30. And it's just an exceptional group. And I think that really shows where we're headed within this program. I had a couple of videos that I thought you guys would enjoy seeing, just some short snippets. This one really talks about who we are on the field. One of the things you'll notice on that video, if you recognize any of those young men, I would guess 80 to 90% of those guys played multiple in their time here at Arapahoe. And that's one of the cultural elements that I have absolutely enjoyed being a part of here. A lot of those guys were in wrestling or track and field or basketball, lacrosse, huge crossovers between football and lacrosse. And we really, as coaches, embrace the opportunity for our student athletes to play multiple sports. Another thing we've worked at here is athletic development. It's been a little bit hard in our times of COVID. We spend a lot of time in the weight room, developing our gifts, growing in our strength. Here's a few of the things that we try to get done in the weight room. Sorry, the audio is not coming through on the videos. I would sing along with the songs, but you don't want that. Um, so in the spring and the summer, the lifting are things we do in season and out of season. We have groups that lift before school and after school. As far as what our year-round program development is, we'll start with our incoming students in late spring after all of the eighth grade sports are done, and we'll have some non-padded practices. During that time, we start installing our offense, defense. I'll kind of talk over this video that you see here, but we'll start doing all of the offense and defense, start teaching tackling fundamentals in there, and uh, continue to start putting in the fundamentals. So you can see we're running plays there, we're learning plays, we're doing fundamentals, learning how to run routes. Then in the summer, we'll do some passing league tournaments. We'll also do some lineman competitions. We'll have a 10-day padded camp in the summer towards the end of July. We try to line it up with other sports so that our multi-sport athletes aren't feeling as though they have choose between one sport or the other. We'll have some weeks we'll go full, then we'll have some weeks where we'll spend time lifting and running. So those are some of the things that we'll do in the off season. I love this quote. It says, "To be a warrior is not a simple matter of wishing to be one. It is rather an endless struggle that will go on to the last moment of our lives. Nobody is born in exactly the same way that nobody is born an average man. We make ourselves into one or the other." And we want to work hard in this program. We coached football players who come in and play on our freshman B team. We've been blessed this year to have so many freshmen. We play 2 games a lot of weeks. But then they work so relentlessly hard over their time here that by the time they get to be a senior, they've made themselves into a starter. They've made themselves into a college football player because they just continue to work through our off-season program through athletic development. A few things about our coaching staff as we wind up. Our hope and desire is to be positive mentors for our players. We want to build relationships with all of the players. You'll see our coaches around school throughout the off season, in the weight room, because they don't want to just coach these young men for 2 months. They want to be able to speak life into these young men over the entire course of their high school career. And then we will hope that those friendships will last even longer than that. Not only are they passionate about relationships, our coaches are passionate about football. Multiple coaches played in the NFL, played college football. We don't just hire dads to coach here. We have knowledgeable football coaches who we have dozens and dozens of state championships that our football staff has been blessed to be a part of. But they're great men, more importantly. A few things as we wind up here. Every year, except this last year with COVID, we'll do a team retreat. 2 clips of our team retreat. This last year, we took our entire program out to Buena Vista, we went river rafting, camping. We did some team activities as well. And those things that are really important in our program. We don't want our football experience to simply be about playing Friday night under the lights. Certainly, that's important. But the longer I coach, the more I realize it's these types of experiences that our players remember the most. These are the relationships they're creating with their teammates. They're forged through these types of experiences. So we took our first 3 days last year. Instead of going practicing 2-a-days, we took it out to a team retreat, create some lifelong memories and bonds amongst our team. And that's what we want to be about in our football program. But we kind of want it all. We want to be exceptional on the football field. I told you we're playing 5A football. We are serious to help our young men. We have so many guys that are going to go on and play football. We want to be great at that. We want them to be great students. We don't believe just because they're great athletes, they shouldn't be great students. We also want them to create lifelong relationships through our team retreats, through our mentorship program, so that they'll remember their high school football experience. If there's anything I can do, I hope you'll reach out. There's a registration form, as Mr. McCabe and Ms. Kuhlman talked about in the video that you saw earlier. I also want to encourage you to finish strong academically. It's easy as an eighth grader to start looking towards high school, but finish strong. Finish this semester strong remotely. Finish your second semester strong. Finish the sports you're doing. We'll have some opportunities to get started here in the spring. And finally, let's encourage others to get on board. There's excitement brewing with Arapahoe football. We're really excited to meet all of you. I know you can't come and watch our games. We'll be playing tomorrow night against another great Centennial League opponent, and we're going to be ready to go. I can't wait to see all of you and for all of you to become Warriors. Hope you have a nice night. Thanks for joining us. I'll stay on here if anyone has questions. I'm happy to answer them.
You stay for a minute. You could turn her.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You bet. Blessings on your night, guys, and your rest of your fall.
Yeah, we're excited.
Thanks. You too.
Thank you.
You betcha.
Thanks, Coach.
You betcha. Thanks for coming on and finding out a little bit about our football program, ma'am.
We enjoyed it.
Hi, I had a quick question.
Yes, ma'am. Lisa, is that your first name?
Yes, that's my first name. My son is Joshua, and we just moved to Colorado in January. And so we're trying to get acclimated with our school options. We're actually, Littleton's actually our home school, but Arapahoe is usually the school of choice for student athletes. And so that's why we've been attending these last 2 nights. My first question isn't specific to Arapahoe, but I just was wondering if you could tell me more about why some schools are actually playing this season and some aren't.
You bet. That's a wonderful question, Lisa. Schools were given the choice with the COVID situation to declare to play in the fall or the spring. Everything of teams will play games will be played fall or spring. And a lot of schools made that choice off of who they were playing against. And so, for instance, Littleton is playing, I can't remember whether it's 2A or 3A, but there are more schools at those smaller levels that chose to play in the spring. All of the Denver public schools played in the spring. Truth be told, if we would have made the decision in a bubble, we may have chosen to play in the spring because one of the things I truly value about Arapahoe here is we want to be great in athletics, but there's such a sentiment that we wanted to get our kids in school and we want to do everything we could here to make sure our kids could get in school. But ultimately, all of the teams we would play at the 5A level, the biggest and best schools in the state, made a choice to play this fall. So by default, we kind of made the choice to play this fall as well.
Okay, and then maybe you said it. I was kind of looking at the website and stuff too. Are there tryouts at the freshman level, or does anybody that comes out make the team?
That's again a great question. I should have covered that. Football, at least any program I've led, has always been a non-cut sport. And part of that, we know there are some sports that just have to cut, right? You can't carry 25 on a basketball team. We want as many kids to be a part of our experience as possible because we think it's good for freshmen to get connected before the year starts. I see it in my role as interventionist at the school. It's good for kids to be connected to something outside the classroom. So what we do is this year, because we had nearly 50 players, we're playing 2 games a week so that we can get more kids game experience. Because we also know if we only play 14 out of those 50 kids, the other kids aren't going to want to continue to play. So we'll dictate that based on our numbers, but we want every kid to be a part of it and every kid to feel like they have a meaningful experience.
Okay, thank you. My next question was going to be about how do you ensure that they all play. So that's really cool that you guys have managed to be able to schedule 2 games a week.
Yeah, it's been really cool. And, we never guarantee that everyone's going to play the same. But the other thing is we try to set practices up where, our number 1 kid, and we don't rank them, but if we did, our number 1 kid and the kid that might be a first-year player that's learning, they're getting just as much practice time and experience. So as a coach, you just don't know who's going to be your best player as a senior based on what they are as freshmen, right? Some kids grow differently, they mature differently. Some kids work harder than others. So you want every kid to feel like they have a vision for how they can be successful in the program.
Both of my boys, I have another son in the 6th grade. They've both been playing, they've played tons and tons and tons of flag football, and then each just 1 or 2 seasons of tackle.
Yeah.
Do you find that you have a lot of first-time tackle football players on the freshman team?
Yeah, to be honest, as a dad, I had told my son that if he wanted to play tackle football in high school, that he would do the same thing, that he would play flag football through at least 6th grade, and then if he wanted to play tackle, he could start in 7th or 8th grade, because I care about their safety too. So we start everything from the ground up. We don't look and try to demean kids that haven't played tackle football before. Right? Like, we just assume this is the start of everyone's football journey, and we work with them to see how we can grow them.
Awesome. Josh, do you have any questions? No? Okay, cool.
Well,
Right,
Lisa,
thank-
know too, the last 2 years I've been in your shoes as a parent, looking at other high schools, and if there's anything I could do, just parent to parent of helping you guys make the choice of what's the right school for you. My cell phone number is there. Please don't hesitate to reach out. I'm not just someone who's saying, oh, you should come to Rapo because ... I made the choice as a parent. My kids have had great experiences so far. So I could speak to anything you would want to as a parent in that regard as well.
I appreciate that. We're actually, Littleton did a couple of nights over the last couple of weeks. And so, we've been looking at websites and watching videos and going to all of these virtual